Hiya, my name's Kirsty and I'm a teacher working for Wales English. I've been working for the company since about late 2018, so quite a long time now. So you've probably clicked on this video because the title's quite dramatic, How Wales English Changed My Life. Now, I want to reassure you that this is completely genuine. This is my own personal story of working for the company. And I want to give you a bit of an insight into kind of what a positive experience it's been for me and how, if you're the right kind of candidate, how it can kind of have the same, you can have the same kind of experience with the company. Now, you're going to have to excuse me. I've just had a baby, 7 months ago. So if I get a bit emotional, it's just the baby brain talking, okay? Okay. Now, let's take a bit of a trip down memory lane. So 2018, I was in the position that a lot of my peers and my generation find themselves in. Kind of stuck in a job that I hated, dreading going into work every single day of my life, kind of in a lot of debt and, kind of gradually resigning myself to a life I didn't really enjoy. Did you recognise it? If you've ever been there, or if you are there, you'll know just what a depressing situation that is to be in. And, towards the end of the year, I kind of had to make a promise to myself, and I had to do a bit of soul searching. Kind of, how did I want my life to look? Kind of, what would I need to do to turn things round? And the word that kept coming up for me was freedom. Like, not working a 9 to 5 in an office or a school, because I knew for me that was just, it was completely soul destroying and demoralising, just didn't suit the kind of lifestyle that I wanted. And so also I knew we were going to be trying for a baby, yay, and I knew I didn't want to work in a job where I'd have to throw the baby in a nursery, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and just spend large periods of time away from the baby. Like, it seemed completely pointless. So, as a bit of a background, a few years previously, I'd taught English for a couple of years in Vietnam, and I'd heard on the grapevine from a few kind of ex-colleagues that online teaching was now the thing. But I was sceptical, like, would I be able to make a living? It seemed highly doubtful. Would it be a flash in the pan thing that would just fizzle out, after I put in a significant amount of time and effort, interviewing with various companies, and going through all of that rigmarole. So I wasn't sure, but I did my research anyway and kind of honed in on a few companies that looked decent. So I started interviewing, and I will be completely honest, nothing felt right at all. I was getting bad vibes kind of left, right and centre, until one fateful morning. You can picture the scene. I was in my living room. I had my laptop on an ironing board in my living room, and I just had this friendliest chat ever, in this digital room with this lovely Canadian woman called Julie, who's one of Wales's kind of most long-standing interviewers and just all-round legend, who kind of gave me the lowdown on Wales, how long she'd been working there. It was quite a few years, which is, always a good sign. The ways that Wales was different, being able to teach various different subjects based on your qualifications and your experience. And, I had such a rapport with her, and I don't know, I just trusted her completely, and I decided during the interview that if they offered me the job, I'd kind of convinced myself that I hadn't got the job, but if they offered me it, that I was going to take it. So, to cut a long story short, obviously I got the job, woo! I did the training, and for me, everything happened very fast. So, within a week or so, I was working all of the peak hours, so I was fully booked. So, I think at the time it was 10 till 1, and then when daylight savings change, it's 11 till 2. And I couldn't believe it, because I've been told that, everyone had told me that it would take ages, I'd have to work so hard to get there. But that kind of wasn't the case for me at all. It won't happen like that for everyone, and I'm not going to promise that. And I did end up on a kind of special trial-only contract, which makes things a little bit different. But, speaking to a lot of my colleagues who work regular contracts, it is possible, to have, regular classes and be making good money from quite early on if the stars align, if you're the right kind of fit, if you've got the right attitude, in general to online teaching. So I was kind of in disbelief about it all. Was this a massive scam? Was Ashton Kutcher about to jump out from under my desk? I just remember I just kept clicking my salary spreadsheet, like, is this real? Is this legit? Do I really get paid this amount of money to kind of sit at home and chat with kind of super cute Chinese kids and have fun for a living, basically? It seemed too good to be true, but, you know, it was totally legit. And by payday, I was totally in love with this, like, well-paying gig that I got to do from home. It was fantastic, and I couldn't believe it. So now, the next part is a bit more out there. So you remember I said I'd been thinking of kind of having a baby. Well, this is a bit personal, but we'd been trying for a while, and for one reason or another, it just wasn't happening. Now, I'm not saying that Wales got me pregnant, but my God, I was with child within weeks of working for the company. I didn't find out till a bit later on, but literally took weeks. And I mean, in all seriousness, you know, I think that because I'd started this job that I loved, that was good, and the money was good enough that I could support my family, and I was just happy. I think that my body just relaxed, and, you know, I felt more at ease with everything, and then bam, baby time. And it's probably a good point now to kind of tell you about my pregnancy and how it was an absolute dream working from home. There was no hot, sweaty commute into kind of a germ-ridden office, no office politics to deal with on top of my raging pregnancy hormones and my horrible morning sickness. I did have to teach through the morning sickness, which was hell. But obviously after those first few months, that kind of dissipated, and that was fine. And, you know, I could wear the loungiest, comfiest pyjama trousers ever while I taught, and not some scratchy pair of maternity, you know, slacks. So I could deal with it. I could deal with it. And, you know, because all of my hours were midday, you know, 10 till 1 or 11 till 2, I had loads of lie-ins. You know, I caught up on my sleep. It was amazing before the baby came and ruined all of that. I also got loads of early nights, and I made all of my hospital appointments with no problems because, you know, I had all that space around my teaching hours to kind of book them in. And yeah, so, you know, post-birth, you know, my dream of not going back to work straight away and not being away from my baby for too long has come true. I don't have to go back to work with these horrible, you know, back to work blues that a lot of my friends are having to deal with, because, you know, it's only for a few hours a day and then I'll be right back with my baby, you know, and I don't have to worry about, you know, those part-time hours, meaning that I don't earn very much, because I earn just as much working those part-time hours as I did with my full-time job in the UK, which is kind of ridiculous. And I think the main thing is that I don't miss so much of her growing up, you know. I think that's the biggest fear for most mothers, that, you know, I won't be there for her first steps, I won't be there for her first words. So I'm just really glad that I found a workaround that works for me with the company. So yeah, I mean, I could go on and on and on about the ways that this has changed my life, and I'm not going to bore you with everything, but it really has changed so much about my life and about me. You know, my confidence is so much better. My bank balance, I've paid off all my debts. And my job and my life satisfaction is just so much better, and it's just had a knock-on effect with everything else. I think when you're happy in kind of one element of your life, it just kind of tends to spiral upwards, doesn't it? And there have been difficult moments, of course, haven't there? But, you know, it's the same with every job. There's going to be frustrations, there's going to be downsides, and I've been lucky enough to make quite a lot of good friends with some of my teacher colleagues online, and if there's something quite frustrating, you know, we're there to kind of vent to each other. And, you know, it's bound to be frustrating working remotely for, you know, a company that operates not only in a completely different country, which is miles and miles and miles away from you, so you can't have a face-to-face chat, but also, you know, it's culturally, it's so different. So, you know, you do have to reconcile those things, and you've got to change your attitude towards work, and that can be quite difficult as well. And yeah, so I see quite a lot of people come and go in the company because I'm quite involved with the teacher community, and the people who do well, they seem to be the people that roll the punches, they pick their battles, and just spend their time kind of appreciating how ridiculously cool it is that we get to sit at home and make money. And when I tell my kind of new mum friends kind of what I do, I kind of get loads of questions on it. You know, it's just the perfect job for us guys. You know, being able to be around for the kids, earning good money, and, you know, you're kind of your own boss. So I'm just ridiculously pleased I went for it when I did. But yeah, I can't vouch that everybody will have the same, good experience, but this has been mine, and I have plenty of colleagues who've had a similar, if not better, time with the company. I would say there's quite a family feel to kind of the online community of teachers. I actually went to the kind of Bristol meetup recently, the one in the UK, and it just confirmed to me that Wales have the friendliest, most dedicated teachers going. It was the best day ever. And the company, it does attract a few bad eggs who kind of seem to slam the door quite loudly as they go out, but I think that's par for the course with any internet-based or any job really. There's going to be people who have a bad experience for one reason or another. It doesn't suit them, but don't take it very well. And I think that's par for the course really. I'm gonna let you make your own mind up about them, but I'd say if you're thinking of applying and you meet all the current requirements, do it. Ignore the haters. People love to moan online, but the positive stories, which there are loads, and I'm going to be sharing a few more of them on this channel, they're less vocalised, and I think it gives off a bit of a skewed impression. So if you're a good teacher, you work hard, you're polite, you're on time, you're culturally sensitive, that's very important, you will do well, and the job could very well change your life like it has done for me. Anyway, it's been quite therapeutic telling you guys my story. I really hope that you've got something from listening to me. And if you have, give us a like, give us a subscribe, leave us a comment telling us how it's helped you, ask a question. I'll be right there answering it. And yeah, just let us know a bit more. It's been so lovely to talk to you, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.